Magic Keyboard for iPad Pro promises to give you a laptop-like experience, but is it worth the shocking price? Welcome. The new iPad Pro supports cursor and trackpad use. This gives it more computer-like functionality. To support these features, Apple have created the Magic Keyboard for iPad Pro. It's a combined keyboard, trackpad, case and stand. For the 12.9-inch model, the cost is a whopping $349. More on that later. A compact box houses the Magic Keyboard. Once you remove it and see the thin light object, you may at first wonder if you've been shortchanged, as it seems so basic. But there is more to it. It's made from a tough polyurethane rubber material. It feels quite sturdy to hold. Flip it open, move the iPad to it and it magnetically attaches. You can tilt it to adjust the viewing angle. Hold the base of the keyboard to steady it, and then you can easily pull the iPad away. So the USP, the unique selling point of the iPad, is that it can be used so comfortably in informal positions. For example, if you're laying back on your sofa. But also, what you get from an add-on keyboard is that ease of typing. What the Magic Keyboard allows you to do is easily switch between these two modes. When you're done working on the keyboard, you can close it with your iPad inside. And this makes it very easy to finish work and get going with minimum fuss. In terms of weight, if you're using the 12.9-inch iPad and the keyboard together, they weigh approximately 1.3 kilos, which is 3 pounds. So together, the keyboard and iPad, they have a really good feel, it has a really good weight to it. When in the folded position, it does provide front and back protection to the iPad Pro against minor knocks and scratches, but it's certainly not robust enough to protect it from a drop on the floor. And whilst it does feel lovely and soft to touch it, one thing that you should bear in mind is that it quickly accumulates dust and dirt, and it can really make it look quite grubby. And on the side of the iPad and the keyboard, there is something called the Smart Connector. And this allows it to draw power from the iPad. Unlike a Bluetooth keyboard which uses a wireless signal, with this you don't have to turn it on, as there is a physical connection. So when you type, you get an immediate response, and there isn't a delay, which can sometimes happen with cheaper Bluetooth keyboards. Now, in terms of the actual keyboard, how it is to use, it's a full-size keyboard which uses Apple's scissor mechanism. The full size means your hands rest easily on the keyboard, it feels comfortable. There is only 1 millimeter of travel on the keys, so you don't have to tap too hard, and there is not an excess of noise, and your fingers don't get tired either. So when using it, it feels like a proper keyboard because it is a proper keyboard, and unlike certain external keyboards, it doesn't feel like a toy. Now, the trackpad has a series of gestures which you should learn, and the keyboard does have a number of shortcuts which you should also learn. However, there is no documentation in the box that informs you of what they are, and there isn't even a link to an e-document either. So if you would like to find out, make sure you watch my other videos about that. However, it would make sense for Apple to provide some sort of information for the user so that they can learn how to use their own product. And what does seem strange is that there isn't a row of function key buttons, because these can provide shortcuts to the volume controls and brightness controls, as well as the escape button. And whilst you can actually access them using certain shortcuts, it would still make sense to include them on the keyboard because they are so commonly used, and that's why they are included on laptop keyboards and regular keyboards. And the keyboard is backlit, but this is dependent on ambient light. So if the room gets darker, the keys will come on. There is a USB-C connector on the left side, but bear in mind this is purely used for charging the iPad. This does free the iPad's own USB-C connector, so you can then use this with any USB-C device. When it comes to reviewing a product, I don't normally think you need to comment on the value of the price, as that is down to the personal preferences of the individual. Apple products are known for having premium prices. However, this is different. The Magic Keyboard for the 12.9-inch iPad Pro is so expensive that in the US it actually costs more than the base model iPad. So the question is it worth it? Well, what are the alternatives? When working at home, you can try this setup of a Bluetooth keyboard and stand. Or you can buy a keyboard stand from a third party such as the Bridge Pro Plus, where you have to clip the iPad into part of the case. But the value of the Magic Keyboard for iPad Pro is that it enables you to switch modes instantly whilst being highly portable. So judging by its component parts, yes, it is disproportionately expensive. But if you will use your iPad Pro on the go, you won't find a better made, more convenient solution to fit in with your life. Does it sound like something that will help you? Tell me in the comments and like and share the video. Thank you for watching.